Hello everyone. Today we'll be considering First Chronicles chapter 16 verse 25. And it says, "For great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. He also is to be feared above all gods. For great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. He also is to be feared above all gods." Now let's look at another verse that mirrors that. We said the word of God mirrors itself. Now, Psalm 96:4 tells us, "For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods." We're going to break First Chronicles 16:25 into three parts. Number one, he is great. Number two, he is to be praised greatly. Number three, he is to be feared above all gods. So let's take the first part. He is great. To be great means to be large in amount, size, intensity, extent, ability, eminence, importance, fame, achievement, or intelligence. There are other dimensions, but for the purpose of this study, we're going to limit our consideration to ability and intelligence or wisdom, if you may. Now, let's look at ability. We're studying greatness now in terms of ability. In Job 9:19, Job was talking about God and he said, "If I speak of strength, lo, he is strong." That's if I'm to talk about strength, you cannot say God is not strong. That's what he's saying in essence. Okay, now let's draw attention to actual experiences of that testify to the greatness of God. Genesis 1 is an account of how God created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. Talks about light, talks about firmament, talks about plants, talks about animals, talks about the stars, talks about the moon, the sun, talks about human beings. Now, let's look at John 8:59. There was a time when Jesus was teaching in the temple, and the people listening to him wanted to kill him. It got that bad. John 8:59. Okay, so now let's backtrack a little bit for context. John 8:53. Now they were asking him, the Jews were asking Jesus, "Art thou greater than our father Abraham, which is dead? And the prophets are dead. Whom makest thou thyself? Who do you think you are? Are you greater than Abraham? You're not even 50 years old. Who are you to call yourself such a great person or to know that much?" Jesus answered, "If I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Father that honoreth me, of whom ye say that he is your God." Now, 56, he said, "Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad." Now, they didn't understand that Jesus was the ancient of days. So they saw him in terms of a small boy. So when he was saying, Abraham was pleased and looked forward to even seeing me, they didn't understand that. So he said, Jesus said, "Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad." Then said the Jews unto him, "Thou art not yet 50 years old, and hast thou seen Abraham?" Jesus said unto them, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am." This got them really, really mad. 59. Then took they up stones, they picked up stones to cast at him, to throw it at him. But Jesus hid himself and went out of the temple, going through the midst of them, and so passed by. Now, this doesn't make any sense by logic. It doesn't make common sense. How can someone be looking for me, like looking for me, they want to kill me, and then I pass in their midst and they cannot kill me? This is very mysterious. So God is great. This testifies to his greatness. They were looking for him. They wanted to kill him. They picked up stones to kill him, and he escaped. How? But Jesus hid himself and went out of the temple, going through the midst of them, and so passed by. They were looking for him. He passed by them, and they did not catch him. They could not find him. They could not grab him. They did not see him. I don't know how he did it. but this is a great ability. Let's move on. John 6:16. Yes. Okay, so Jesus had fed the people that came to see him. He fed them with bread and fish. After that incident of him feeding them, the disciples entered into a ship and left. That's the context. So now let's read it for details. So John 6:16. And when even was come, it was evening. His disciples went down onto the sea and entered into a ship and went over the sea towards Capernaum. So this was the Sea of Galilee. They wanted to cross the Sea of Galilee to go to Capernaum. There's no Sea of Capernaum. So for clarity, there's only one sea we're talking about here, and it's the Sea of Galilee. According to Wikipedia, it's also known as Lake Tiberias. Now, and it was now dark. Okay, so night had come, and Jesus was not come to them. And the sea arose by reason of a great wind that blew. So there was a storm, so the level of the sea was no more like this. It was now sort of like an N. So when they had rowed about 5 and 20 or 30 furlongs, so they got into their ship and they started rowing, they started moving. So they had rowed about 25 or 30 furlongs. Now, a furlong is equivalent to 201 meters or 220 yards or 660 feet. So 25 furlongs is 3 miles or 5,500 yards or 5,025 meters or 5 kilometers. So let's move on. Now, so when they had rowed about 3 miles, let's use miles now. When they had rowed about 3 miles, they see Jesus walking on the sea and drawing nigh unto the ship. So Jesus was coming towards them and they were afraid. 20. But he said unto them, it is I, it's me. Don't be afraid. Then they willingly received him into the ship. Now, here is the amazing thing. And immediately the ship was at land whither they went. Let's take it again. Jesus approached them. They allowed him to enter the ship. And immediately he entered, they were on land. They were in the middle of the sea. Jesus entered the ship. As soon as Jesus entered, the ship found its way miraculously and appeared on the land. This is amazing. Now, let's put a little bit of context into this. According to Wikipedia, the dimension of the Sea of Galilee is 13 miles long and 8 miles wide. So I want you to think of a rectangle that is 13 miles long and 8 miles wide. So you're looking at length and breadth. Okay? You're looking at length and you're looking at breadth. A rectangle that is standing, that is narrow, vertically standing. Okay? Now, they had moved 25 or 30 furlongs. So let's use 25 furlongs, which is 3 miles. They had moved 3 miles from where they were. Hmm? From where they were trying to cross over the Sea of Galilee to the other side. So they had rowed 3 miles into the sea. 3 miles into the sea. Now let's try to pinpoint where they were. So we're looking at a rectangle that is 8 miles wide, that's the breadth, and 13 miles long. So you're looking at 13 miles and you're looking at 8 miles. 13 miles long, 8 miles wide, which is the breadth. So if you're coming from one breadth, that's the side of 8 miles, to another breadth, the middle of the sea should be about 6 miles. And they had rowed about 3 miles. So they were basically in the middle of the sea. Let's look at it from another angle. If you're coming from one length, the side of 13 miles, to another length, then the middle of that would have been 4 miles. They had rowed 3 miles into the water. So either way you look at it, they were in the middle of the water when they saw Jesus.